The ancient Egyptians invented toothpaste, made from ox hooves, ashes, burnt eggshell, and pumice. It actually cleaned teeth. Wealthy ancient Egyptians slept on neck supports instead of pillows, specifically to preserve their elaborate wigs and hairstyles overnight.
Egypt's Nile River flows northward, making it one of the very few major rivers in the world to flow from south to north.
Toilets were found inside many ancient Egyptian tombs, buried with the dead so they could use them in the afterlife. The granite blocks inside the king's chamber weigh up to 80 tons each, quarried 500 miles away.
The oldest 20-sided dice ever found was discovered in Egypt, dating back to around 30 BC. Ancient Egyptians used a 365-day calendar, 12 months of exactly 30 days each.
The Great Pyramid of Giza actually has 8 sides, not 4. The extra 4 are subtle concave faces barely visible.
Ancient Egyptians had a 70% accurate pregnancy test. A woman would urinate on barley seeds.
Ancient Egyptians wore hair extensions. Archaeologists have found artificial braids attached to real hair on 3,000-year-old mummies.
During the Battle of Pelusium, Persian forces used cats as shields, knowing Egyptians would never risk harming a sacred cat.
Right opposite the main entrance to the Great Pyramid enclosure, you'll find a Pizza Hut and a KFC. Ancient wonder.
Traces of nicotine and cocaine were found inside Egyptian mummies from plants that only grew in the Americas.
The world's oldest prosthetic limb belongs to an Egyptian woman. A wooden toe fitted around 1000 BC.
Ancient Egyptians invented the marshmallow. They combined sap from the marshmallow plant with nuts and honey as a treat 2,000 years ago. Ancient Egyptians respected people with dwarfism. They didn't see it as a disability. Several held high-ranking positions in the royal court.
The Great Pyramid of Giza actually has 8 sides, not 4. The extra 4 are subtle concave faces barely visible.
Scatomancy, telling the future through someone's feces, was a genuine practice in ancient Egypt. Fortune-telling had a very different form back then. Many ancient Egyptian pharaohs were overweight and unhealthy because their diet was almost entirely sugar.
An ancient Egyptian cure for blindness was to pour mashed pig's eye into the patient's ear.
Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, was actually Greek, not Egyptian. She descended from one of Alexander the Great's generals.
The ancient pyramids of Giza sit right against the edge of modern Cairo. You can literally see fast food restaurants from the pyramids.
Ancient Egyptian inscriptions list 3 human genders, not 2. Archaeologists found evidence of a 3rd gender category over 4,000 years ago. The current Library of Alexandria has a copy of every web page from every website on the internet since 1996.
2,200 years ago, a scholar in Egypt calculated the Earth's circumference using only math, without
An Egyptian leader made his country the first Arab nation to achieve peace with Israel in 1979.
No Egyptian president has ever left office peacefully. Everyone has either died in office, been arrested, or been removed by force.
In ancient Egypt, killing a cat, even accidentally, was punishable by death. Cats were so...
In ancient Egypt, men were allowed to take time off work to care for menstruating wives and daughters.
A woman in Egypt disguised herself as a man for 43 years, just to be able to work.
King Tutankhamun died at just 18 years old. The most famous pharaoh in history ruled Egypt as a teenager and was dead before adulthood.
In ancient Egypt, beer was used as national currency. Workers building the pyramids were paid in beer.
The word gypsy is actually short for Egyptian haps, because Europeans mistakenly believed the Roma people originally came from Egypt.
There are still unexplored passageways inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the world's most studied structures.
The tradition of exchanging wedding rings comes from ancient Egypt, where rings symbolized eternity with no beginning and no end. The first sailing boats in human history were invented in ancient Egypt. Every ship that has ever sailed owes its origin to Egypt.
Egypt has the largest Arab population in the world. Not Saudi Arabia, not Iraq. Egypt. by a significant margin. Ancient Egyptians shaved off their eyebrows to mourn the death of their cat. Eyebrows grew back. The grief was real.
Coquetries. An entire ancient Egyptian city called Heracleion was lost underwater for 1200 years.
And ancient Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone, curved stone neck supports, considered a luxury item, not a single soft pillow.
The world's oldest dress was found in Egypt, and it is 5,000 years old. Fashion is 5 millennia old.
The Statue of Liberty was originally designed for Egypt to stand at the Suez Canal entrance. Egypt said no. America got it instead.
The world's largest pyramid is not in Egypt, it's in Mexico. The Great Pyramid of Cholula is the biggest ever built by volume.
Between Egypt and Sudan, there's a 795 square mile stretch of land that neither country wants to claim. An unclaimed no man's land in Africa.
The pyramids were not built by slaves. They were built by pay workers who received wages.
Christianity was the main religion in Egypt between the 4th and 6th centuries AD. Egypt was Christian before it was Islamic. Written language was invented independently by 4 civilizations: Egyptians, Sumerians, Chinese, and Mayans.
Sudan actually has more pyramids than Egypt. The country everyone associates with pyramids is not even the pyramid champion.
Ancient Egyptians worshipped over 1,400 different gods and goddesses. One civilization, 1,400 deities. Egypt is the most populous country in the Arab world, with over 95 million people. Which Egypt fact blew your mind the most? Drop the number below. Subscribe, the next drop is already coming.